What is up, guys? Anime Logician here, and today I bring you news on Crunchyroll. So for the past 2 weeks, I've been interested on what Crunchyroll's been doing because I've been hearing a lot on YouTube that there's been a downfall with Crunchyroll, amongst other things, and that it's losing out to a lot of these other streaming platforms. The topic is titled 18 Crunchyroll employees allege management is out of touch and more. Interesting. Let's get into it, shall we? Crunchyroll is a major anime streaming platform, but according to a report by Bloomberg, things aren't all rosy in the company. The report bases this opinion after interviewing 18 former and current employees, none of whom wanted to publicly share their names, and looking at sales numbers, among other things. So essentially, they want to remain anonymous because they don't want their names out there, possibly due to fear of backlash from the company or being sued by, let's say, in court. And then looking at sales numbers always show that the data is correct. It always tells you what's popular and what isn't, what's going in and what's going out. You know, part of Crunchyroll's dilemma is competing with platforms that offer anime and other shows and movies. Amazon, Disney, and Netflix may not have started out with anime, but they see the money and they want in. So essentially, these companies are fighting to get streaming titles and just a bunch of money being made out of it. So that's one thing I noticed the past 2 weeks is that Crunchyroll is having to contend with these other companies just because these companies want money, and that's pretty much it. If there's buku money to be made somewhere, everyone is going to want in. Oriana Zhao, the research manager at Ampere Analysis, noted that there's growth at Crunchyroll in casual anime viewers, but not core anime fans. These people will tend to watch it on Netflix or Amazon Prime, which are more mainstream. Um, I'm someone who tends to use all three, especially Hulu Dive, because I tend to watch animes. I tend to watch new animes per season, and that's ranging anywhere from 16 to 20 anime titles because I make content and tier list based on those anime titles. Um, though essentially, I could see why a lot of the casual fans go to Crunchyroll because Crunchyroll started out as being the main base for anime aside from Funimation. But since Funimation dissolved into Crunchyroll, the number one streaming platform for most people is going to be Crunchyroll, right? But again, Crunchyroll has pissed off its fans more than once, and essentially a lot of these hardcore anime fans don't want anything to do with Crunchyroll and its backlash because they just don't want to deal with its issues anymore. So they go to Netflix or Amazon Prime to watch anime there. There was also a recent survey that said 76% of Gen Z anime watchers tune into Netflix as opposed to 50% who tune into Crunchyroll. As you can see, there's a 12% difference between Crunchyroll and Netflix, with Netflix gaining the upper hand with 12% of viewers more compared to Crunchyroll. It makes sense. As for the anonymous former and current workers that allege that Crunchyroll's new management is out of touch with the people working under them, and that some of them dismiss anime as merely kids' cartoons and don't want to hire anime or don't want to hire fans. There were complaints that some of the higher ups just don't understand anime, and honestly, that makes sense. That makes sense. So I'm gonna step aside from this one thing real quick, and I'm gonna tell you guys about what I figured out. A lot of these upper management people don't really have the passion for anime. They don't care about the culture, the Japanese culture, and they don't really care about the workers. They're all in this for the money. The money that's being made is ridiculous when a lot of these upper management people are making the amount of money they are off of not just Crunchyroll and these streaming platforms, but off these anime conventions in general. I did the math. I went to Ikicon, I believe. I think it was Ikicon. Uh, it was Ikicon about back in 2018 or 2019, right? And essentially, there was about, I want to say, 25,000 people that attended, right? So if we were to do the math, let's say 18,000 people bought the 3-day pass that would guarantee them the 3-day passes to go and attend the convention for those 3 days. And let's say 7,000 people went to the convention, but they purchased the VIP or the MVP pass for $140. Essentially, the people who run conventions make around 2 million to 3.5 million. So in a ballpark, a lot of these upper management people don't care about anime and the Japanese culture, as they're over here making millions and millions of dollars, anywhere from 2 million to 5 million. It all depends on what convention you go to and what convention is being ran by these companies, you know? Because essentially, you have tons of people who can't afford the VIP passes, so they'll get the 3-day pass, which is $80. But then you have a lot of these people who have a bit of extra money, right? They'll spend it on the VIP passes, and they'll spend $140 just to get the special care package and the 3-day pass alone. But what concerns me is a lot of these people are making millions and millions of dollars all because they want to run a convention that they don't care about, and all they see is dollar signs. They don't care about the culture, they don't care about the fans, they don't care about the workers, they don't even care about the anime. They're just there to make the money. That's it. There have been a few rounds of layoffs since Sony bought the company. People currently working there believe that Crunchyroll, which is hoping to get 25 million subscribers before 2025 is over, does not have a clear plan. Workers claim they picked the number 25 million to have a big catchy number and not something that matches data. That is ridiculous. That is ludicrous. I don't know who would do that without a plan. That is just idiotic. I'm going to be honest, that's idiotic. So essentially, a big catchy number because 25 million subscribers is going to equate to 2025. So let me get this straight. You plan on getting 25 million subscribers before the end of 2025. You're going to do this all within a year, and all because it's a catchy number. No. No. That is just stupid. That is idiotic. That is stupid. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but those people need to be kicked out of the company and replaced with someone with actual brains because that is idiotic. Also, how are you going to plan something and then equate to a goal when you have no plan and that plan you suggested doesn't even match the data? The data is what matters. As I said before, the data is the truth. The data is the facts. If you aren't going ahead with the data and following up on the data, then what are you doing? You're failing the company and you're not making smart moves. You're making dumb moves is what you're doing. Right Stuff with Crunchyroll, which Crunchyroll bought, has also seen its revenue drop in part because Sony requested that all adult titles be removed, which was about 5% of their income. You see, I myself used to support Right Stuff back in 2018, 2019, but as soon as Crunchyroll bought them out, I was like, you know what? I could see some things are going to change within Right Stuff, and I just don't want to be there for that. So I stopped doing business with Right Stuff, and essentially, Crunchyroll is now losing money because Sony decided that, oh yeah, we're going to make our stuff censored. We're going to have our stuff more friendly or more family friendly, and overall just make it safe for our viewers, when essentially some of your viewers are adults, you morons. I myself am 28 years old, and yet here you are making up these idiotic plans, these ideas that aren't even working because you all want to be morons and not follow the data. If you are losing 5% of your income and Sony is irritated that Crunchyroll is losing money over business practices and business ideas that aren't working well, then Sony, look at yourself and blame yourself, because right there, it is. You are losing 5% of your income, which is idiotic. Realize that some of your fans are adults, not just children, and realize that you are losing money because your own stupidity. 39% of Crunchyroll workers said that in a survey that they feel motivated by the strategy Crunchyroll has transmitted. The last time that survey happened, the number was at 51%. Sony looked into a report filed to Human Resources about alleged sexism at Crunchyroll and ultimately sided with the man who was accused. That same man has had other complaints against him? Why are you... Okay. Let me calm myself a bit before I rant. Why are you siding with an abuser who is abusing these victims? Like that makes no sense. What are you doing? That is a big red flag. That is a massive, giant red flag right on your forehead. And now you're seeing why you're not getting as much subscribers compared to Netflix? I mean, let's be real here. That's idiotic. That's so dumb. You're gonna side with an abuser. You're gonna side with an abuser that is basically abusing these victims and making the work environment a terrible place. Good lord, people are stupid. Jesus. While all the workers here are quoted anonymously, voice actor and director David Wald recently alleged abuse by Crunchyroll and said he would be talking about details publicly. That is something I want to see. I want to see more of these voice actors speak out on the abuse within these companies, because a lot of these companies should be thanking their fans that they're actually thriving. Instead of taking away things and, abusing people within your company, you should be helping out people and supporting the people that are in need, just so you can thrive and make your buku money, because you as a person are stupid, obviously. And honestly, I'm gonna check out that David Wald thing. I'm not sure if it's gonna be a documentary, an interview, or a Q&A on a website, but I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna look that up and check it out. Crunchyroll was asked to give a statement about these quotes from anonymous workers. Crunchyroll stated in an email, "There's never been a more exciting time to be an anime fan, and we are strategically feeding a pipeline of anime content and experiences that fuels that fandom, deepens the love of anime, and exposes more audiences to the medium. The Crunchyroll business is outperforming our financial expectations, and the company is well positioned to continue to grow alongside the rising global demand for anime." None of that makes sense. That whole entire that whole entire paragraph I just read is a PR move. It's a public response move. Basically, they're basically trying to tell everyone, we're doing good, we're doing great, we're not in trouble, we're not in need of any assistance, we're doing good. First off, how are you meeting financial expectations if Sony is making complaints that you're using its money for business practices that aren't making money and business ideas that don't do anything for Sony or yourself? That is idiotic. That makes no sense. And then one thing I noticed is that I think it was last week, I'm sorry, Crunchyroll started doing this thing where it said, let's see how much anime you watched within this year. Let's see how many hours of anime you watch within this genre or this genre. What's your favorite genre? What's your favorite anime? Yada, yada, yada. And it's exactly what Spotify does. It gives out statistics on what your favorite artist was, what your favorite genre of music was. Did you like deathcore? Did you like metal? Did you like country? Did you like techno? Yada, yada, yada. And it's so idiotic. Why are you wasting your valuable money on statistics that most people, or half the people within your subscriber base, don't even care about? They want to see that money being used to fix the app, to fix the company, to fix things within the company that are terrible, Because obviously, half the people don't even care about their stats. Like, of course, I got my stats, I read them out. Some of that wasn't even true, because essentially it said my 3 favorite genres of that year were isekai, drama, and fantasy. Look, I watch anime on Crunchyroll because I want to get the latest episodes of anime so I can make my content, I can make my tier list, and I can do things at a certain time to where I don't have to wait with other websites or other streaming services to get me those episodes that I need to watch, right? So essentially, I'm watching all these anime that are appearing within the new season. Doesn't mean I'm a fan of those anime. It means I'm watching those anime because those anime are what's recently new, what's recently being updated, and what everyone's talking about. I'm not going to say I'm a fan of isekai, drama, or fantasy because I'm watching those currently. I'm only watching those in order to make content and to see what these anime are about, whether they're good, they're bad, or they suck, I'm not here to say, oh yeah, thanks Crunchyroll for making me realize I'm a fan of, harem and drama and comedy and yada yada yada. No, that is a waste of money. That is stupid. Essentially, you're investing money in AI and machine learning in order to get those statistics, and that is stupid. Nobody's asking for that. We're asking for real statistics, real data being given by human interaction, not by AI, not by human machining, or by machining, but by actual human interaction. Someone said it best, I don't know, I believe it was Chibi Reviews. He said, within the next 5 to 6 years, if Crunchyroll does not fix their stuff, get their act together, that Sony will axe them from the company and overall plant their own streaming service based in Japan in order to stream that 78% of anime. Because if Crunchyroll doesn't get their act together, then it's bye bye Crunchyroll. I honestly want to say I saw this coming, but I don't think any of us saw this unless we actually looked deep into it. But after when Funimation was bought up by Sony or Crunchyroll, Sony basically owns a lot majority of Crunchyroll, and at that point, if Crunchyroll doesn't listen to Sony, then it's bye bye Sony. So yeah, Crunchyroll needs to kick out upper management and replace it with people who have common sense too. Um, Quit protecting these these abusers, because something tells me if you're protecting these abusers and siding with these abusers, it either tells me that they're paying you money under the table or they got blackmail on you as a company and you're afraid to get outed by that person. And three, Crunchyroll just needs to follow the data. They need to stop making terrible business ideas, terrible business practices, and get along the lines of what the data is showing them. Because if you're losing money because Sony wants to ban and censor adult titles, then that's something that needs to be taken care of within the company and amongst the two business partners. Because obviously, you have people who are adults, young adults, who watch anime, and then you have kids who watch anime as well. Your subscribers aren't just invested in by kids, but you have adults who watch anime as well. It's not rocket science. It's not that hard to understand. Please comment, like, and share the video. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. And honestly, just tell me what you think. What made you walk away from Crunchyroll? What made you invest into other streaming platforms? And please subscribe to my channel for more anime content. Within these next 4 to 5 days, I'm going to be working on a documentary on Crunchyroll, basically how it started, how it began, and where it started falling off, because it's obvious people need to understand why Crunchyroll isn't doing as good as it was back in the old days of anime. So yeah, I will see you guys later. Peace.